Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can believe in just about anything, but we believe that it's 7 o'clock on a Sunday night. And that means it's time for the Painting with Menoth John show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your Sunday night addiction. It is what you have come to expect. It is what you have become to believe. We are your Alpha and the Omega. We are what is, what will be, and what can be. And with me tonight, I have one of the fellas that makes this happen on a weekly basis and one of your favorite guests of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, direct from the greater Maryland area, you know him as the co-host with the Mr. John Spencer. Say hello to the Brushies.
Hey, Brushheads, how's it going?
I think that they're having a great time. We are at the viewer count hasn't reset. We're at 0 viewers,
Yay!
but we have good bandwidth. So you know, as long as you got a lot of bandwidth, I hear that's what the viewers want. Anyway, and from the fabulousness that is uniquely Illinois, we have Shoshie Bauer. Say hello to the Brushies.
Hello.
Hey, Shoshie.
Hey, Brushheads.
Yay, we're so happy to have you back on.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like I'm screaming into the microphone, so... yes, we are very, very happy to have you on. It's a very special episode here on Painting with Menoth John. This is our second quarter 2015 Brushhead Gallery edition, and we decided we would have a legitimate, honest-to-God painter with us. So thanks, Shoshie.
Thanks, and I'm glad to be here.
What you been up to?
Oh, so much.
Well, we got 90 minutes.
Yeah. I've been getting ready for Gen Con, and I'm painting for the P3 Grandmaster Championship competition.
Very cool.
That the Privateer Press does. And let's see, before that, I did a charity auction for a charity in Texas that it's called Jonathan's Place, and they're trying to raise money for this home for neglected and abused children.
Very nice.
And so I painted a Primark, and the Primark was very well received. And
is this the one that was been up on Cool Mini for all this time?
Yeah.
See, that's why it's been up on Cool Mini, Shoshie. It's got the sweet karma behind it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it had something to do with it. I mean, so, and I had it as an auction too. So when you link as an auction to Cool Mini, it gets a little bit more views.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
And it's a beautiful, beautiful model. I did take the time to go out and look at it. And that's from that other game, The Age of Signar. No, wait, that's
No.
40K.
I think it's technically 30K, but I'm not for sure.
Oh yeah, Primarks, yeah, that'd be 30K.
Yeah, you have to be really careful about making sure that you talk about them in the right way.
And technically,
that's Warhammer 30K.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
I didn't say that.
Back when I worked in mail order, that was actually a running joke between the guys that actually became a thing through Forge World, which makes it 3 times as funny as it was back then.
Nice. Yeah.
Well,
there was a joke that I had with a friend that because I was painting Horus, but before that I tried to paint Ferrus Manus, and because I didn't know as much about the fluff.
Are you sure it wasn't Biggest Dickus?
No, I'm sure it wasn't.
Wait, isn't he part of War?
Exactly. That's.
So I was going to be painting Ferrus Manus first, but then I switched and I started painting Horus, And I started calling him Horace Manus because they're brothers, and so they have the same last name. And that became a big long joke when people explained to me, no, his name is not Horace Manus. But then so my model, I named him Horace Manus so that it would
That's
just be mine.
that's awesome.
I know.
That is that's one of the best painting stories we've had on this show. But because it gave us the opportunity to bring in Biggest Dickus. You know my friend.
I don't know that.
Dickus. It's from God. It's Monty Python, isn't it, John?
Yeah, okay, now I remember. I was like, I thought it seemed familiar.
Yeah, it's from, I believe, Life of Brian.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's if you haven't seen Life of Brian, folks, for God's sakes, stop watching and just go. And just go watch it. Get back to us. We'll be on YouTube. It's no big whoop-de-doo. But anyway, so yeah, we're tickled stupid. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering why I'm never looking at the camera, it's because the monitor that has Shoshie over here is on my right-hand side, and it would be really, really difficult for me to carry on a conversation without looking at her. And the Brushhead gallery has to stay on this monitor that's directly in front of me because of how I have XSplit set up. So technology for the win. But thank you for being on here. We're very excited about it. What will you be drinking this evening, Shoshie?
I have my favorite, Jose Cuervo.
Not a lot left
tequila.
in there, dear.
Not a lot, because
left.
I drank probably 3 or 4 shots last time.
Nice.
So.
And that's the only time that you get into the bottle is when you're on this show.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much need to get you on the show more frequently.
Just never go 10 rounds with Jose Cuervo. It's not a good idea.
Nobody wins. Nobody
Jose
wins.
and our friends, I don't have too many problems. That's why I'm drinking tequila.
That's what Jose wants you to think.
Okay.
Sorry, it's also a country song.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear anything about a truck, so I wasn't sure.
There's no truck, just Jose and 10 rounds.
All right, so John, what are you drinking this evening? Now that you've brought country music into my dojo.
Hey, don't hate on everything.
Our dojo.
Like everything, some of it's good, some of it is also exists.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I have a shot of Kraken, and then I stopped and got some Not Your Father's root beer at the one place locally that gets it.
Nice. From listening to the Beer Machine podcast, there's I doubt you can get it, but I can because I'm from Wisconsin. Sprecher Brewery out of I think somewhere here in Wisconsin makes a root beer that's supposed to be pretty hot shit too. And I'm going to stop by the Mars Cheese Castle, which is out on I-94 here out by Racine and Kenosha, and I'm going to pick some up and bring it home. So anyway, I will be having a shot of the Kraken, and I will be continuing to drink Kraken throughout the rest of the show because my Belinda's brother Kelly threw me a rope-a-dope saying that he was possibly coming over for dinner tomorrow. So I've got a growler of Horny Goat Scotch Ale. It's called Whoa Nelly upstairs, and I'm not going to be breaking into it because I thought I was saving it for him, and now that's not happening. So I'll just be drinking Kraken. So it's not the end of the world. So so here's to you, Kelly Lawrence, for stiffing me tomorrow night. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
Hey, is Belinda in the chat room, John?
Let me check.
Bindi Librarian, I believe, is her new name. She had problems with her Twitch account.
Oh, that's so
negatory.
good.
She's probably going to be hopping mad that she didn't get to hear her brother tossed underneath the bus. I'll let her know later.
She can listen to the recorded version.
Bingo. That's what we love about this internet. You know, it's got the savings and you put it up there, and it's for time immemorial. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
So we've had our beverage update, which brings us to well, first off, I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit here, John. I'm going to go ahead and do our quick commercial before we go into any of the painting type related things, and then I have a little bit of a testimonial before that. So usually we bring in a spokesmodel, and we've been doing that here pretty regularly for some time, and the joke may have run a little thin, I'm thinking. I'm running out a little bit as John holds up his fingers.
I feel like after the Cricksjack, whose name you got wrong.
That was so funny last time, though.
Oh, it was.
I laughed my butt off.
That one was probably the pinnacle. I don't think he'd reached that. I was no good.
So, I think we'll put it on the back burner for right now. We still do have some wonderful sponsors. We have Discount Games Incorporated out of Idaho Falls. This is Jay and the gang up there at Gameopolis. Recommend, of course, that you spend money at your FLGS because if they're giving you a place to play, the least you can do is spend a couple bucks while you're there. It's just called being a good neighbor. But if you can't get what you need, Jay is a great guy to go with, too. Really, really wonderful folks up there in Idaho Falls, and Jay is one of them. So go ahead and get over there to Discount Games Incorporated, $50. You're going to get the free shipping. If you're overseas, he's going to make it as reasonable to get it overseas as possible. So then, of course, we have Greenleaf Terrain with our good friend Adam up there. I was watching Adam. He was playing on Gorilla Miniatures channel, playing some Age of Sigmar with Ash. Really great guy. Makes some tremendous terrain. If you're looking for very scenic-looking terrain, I highly recommend it. Got a buddy of mine coming over to the house tomorrow, and we are going to open up that not tomorrow, Tuesday. And we're going to bust open that growler of Scotch Ale and play some games. So I may turn the camera around and do an informal brunch machine tomorrow evening.
Sounds cool.
Low production values. We're not gonna sweat a damn thing. We're just gonna have fun.
Why change now?
Exactly. And then also, of course, we've got Games and Gears, and tonight we're gonna start a new tradition here, John. They've been good enough with us to provide us some. The loot pile is starting to accumulate. Our good friends at Games and Gears. I've got a set of the Ichibans, the black-handled Ichibans. This is the latest generation of the Ichibans, so these should be the latest and greatest. And we have 12 submissions for the Brushhead Gallery, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to give these away tonight. So some lucky guy is going to get. There's 4 of them in here. There's a 0, a 00, a 1, and a 2. So 4 brushes are going to go out to a lucky Brushhead tonight, and we'll roll for that and send them over to whoever they are. So stay tuned for that during the Brushhead Gallery. So that's it. That's our commercial. The other part is there's 25 of you out there that are watching. I appreciate you being here. If you'd like to support the show, if you want to help make more of this stuff happen, Patreon is really the engine that drives the Painting with Menoth John show. Right down here, patreon.com/MenothJohn. People have been really, really generous with us, John. There's been maybe a few people that have decided against continuing their patronage, and that's okay. But if
Absolutely.
And no hard feelings, and sometimes times are tough, and you got to put your money, your resources in other places. But certainly appreciate anybody who is ever a patron. If you left us, hope you'll come back. If you don't, thank you very much for the support. But if you'd like,
if you left us for a reason, let us know. We can't get better without you guys telling us.
Absolutely, we are very
Feedback
coachable.
would be great.
We are very coachable, and sometimes I get a little political on the old Facebooks, and I hope that didn't make anybody mad. I try to keep that to a minimum, but if you left, let us know. But if you'd like to support the show, 50 cents, a buck, whatever per episode. I only charge for the Sunday night show. Any extras are absolutely free because I don't think that's fair. I don't think we should be ever we're not about soaking people. We're about trying to provide value. So here you go, patreon.com/MenothJohn, and support the show if you can. Anyway, so that's it for that. Shoshie, are you still with us?
I am, but I can tell that my video is off again, and I don't know why it does that.
It's weird. Sometimes that happens. It does put up a very fetching picture of you in your stead, and we can, as long as we can hear your voice, we're still miles and miles ahead of where we would be if you weren't on the show.
Okay.
So, first thing I want to talk a little bit about is painting tartans. We had Lance, who is the producer for the Muson Mini show, or at least was. I don't think he's doing it anymore. He might just be doing Miami. I haven't listened to Miami in long enough. I can't remember. But Lance Becker, who is a hell of a good guy, had asked for some quick tips on painting tartans, and I should have gotten a model out. But essentially what I was doing was hey, Shoshie, why don't you provide some tips real quickly? I'm going to get the model out, and I'm going to put it up on the paint cam, and then we could talk about my specific pattern. You can give some general tips. How about that?
That sounds great. Okay.
All right, what you got for us?
I'm waiting to see what he's got.
Oh, so in the meantime, guys, if you want to, I've actually found a lot of interesting tutorials on how to paint tartans online. And as a mediocre painter, I've read them all, and they actually seem very doable. So if you're looking
Yeah.
for that, take a look online. In fact, honestly, if you're looking for anything you want to paint, start by going online and seeing if anyone's done a tutorial. Get an old crappy model, just something you're not going to use too much, and try it out on that first.
I agree. And then I'm pretty sure, like, when they first came out with, you remember the brush thralls ages ago?
Yes.
They came out with a tutorial that wasn't too hard to follow, I don't think.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
He's got the model now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I'm trying to focus the camera a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so let's go with that, and I got to drag this. I don't know what I just did to the window for. There we go. All right. So here is the. I'm going to try and turn. This might be a little bit too much light. Nope, now it's dark as shit. So, all right, let's go ahead and do this. All right, so as you can see here, what we have is it's a green tartan, and it's got kind of these. It's got a horizontal cream stripe. It's also got a reddish brown vertical and a reddish brown horizontal, and it's got these kind of orangish looking little dots in the middle. And I had the unenviable task of trying to match a tartan. And so I had not painted the tartans on this model, on the regular Fen blade, and I was trying to match the same pattern. So what I did when I did this was I looked at what was the pattern he had already chosen, and I could tell that the cream pieces were on the top because they were they were overlapping a lot of things. So I think the first thing in doing a tartan is decide what color and what stripes and in what directions are they going is the lowest level one.
Yes.
And so that was my first choice. And in this case, this is the green that I chose was the Iosian green from PP. That I thought, well, that looks like the same kind of color that he used. And then I used the bloodstone for my verticals and horizontals. So those were the first things I laid down. And for me, what I was most scared of was how do you handle folds in the fabric? And I'm not a real great painter. I'm just kind of I'm a kind of a mediocre painter. And so what I tried to do was think about, okay, when I look at real fabrics, how do they fold? When they fold up like that, it seems like they should probably end up, depending upon the fold, either a little bit above or below where the stripe was when you were coming into it. Usually probably a little bit below, I would think. And so that's where that's what I did, is on the tops I went a little low, and then actually when I folded back up on the outside on this one, I came a little bit high on the second fold, thinking that might be a fold that would fold up. And that might be somewhat dictated by as you look at the bottom of the cloth to kind of see did the cloth come up when it folded in that direction, or did it go down? So what do you think about that as a technique, Shoshie, for deciding where how the stripes should move?
Okay, so when I'm doing my stripes, I will follow the direction of the cloth. I don't try to think about, just below or anything. Like, okay, so I'm just going to do a quick sketch so I can actually show you. So
this is some high-tech level up shit we're doing right now, folks. You can't buy this crap on the internet. I mean, you can by joining Patreon.
I just did basically two folds next to each other. And I don't know if you can even see this. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, just hold it up to the camera. I think it's pretty good if you hold it up to the camera.
So I've got my first fold here, and I've got my first edge of my line here. And this is what I actually do, is I will paint my edges of my first stripe before I do anything, and then I'll fill it in. Right? So you're almost making yourself a coloring book. So you paint the first edges, and then this is going to curve.
Okay, I see. So I see what you're doing.
It's going to start where you ended, but it's going to curve with whatever you're,
So you're using a very, very fine brush at that point to draw the top and the bottom of the stripe, whereas in this one, I didn't know that technique. So what I did was I used my my numbers, I don't know, 0 or 1 brush, and it's a little bit thicker stripe than the cream one. I just did it all in one fell swoop and kind of hoped it turned out okay, which, I'm not a top level painter, but
so after that, I'm going to use a marker. Um, so I colored it in now. I've got my stripes because I've painted that in after I did my lines first. And then once, and this is, tell me if I'm getting ahead.
No, you're doing fine.
Okay, I'm going to do my, like a thinner stripe in a different color in the middle of that.
Okay, so you're putting a thin stripe inside of the other color.
Inside of the other one.
Okay.
And you could make it, actually, you could make it thicker too, and then put another one inside that. Then I'm going to go ahead.
Your tartans are way more sophisticated than my tartan.
Well, it
But this was
doesn't
my
hurt to
first-
show people the sophisticated. 'cause
No,
it's
no,
not
that's good.
it's
No,
not doable.
No, I'm not criticizing at all. I appreciate that. I'm just,
Okay.
I'm a little in awe.
So then I did this horizontal. Okay.
Yep.
So I've got my thick stripe and my thin stripe. And if you can, for the next stripe, you're going to basket weave. So the next one's going to go underneath. You're not going to have the cross. You're going to have it go underneath. And the big stripe is going to be in front. Does that make sense?
Yep. Nope. It makes sense. So
Okay.
it'll start and stop. In other words, like it'll start, and then it'll be like it's underneath it, and it'll start.
Yeah. And then the last thing I do, this is the thing that makes it really look tartany. And I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this on camera. I've got a silver marker here. That little junction, I don't know if you can see this. The little junction in the middle.
Yep, we can see it.
You're going to do a little square of something bright, like red or something. Whatever this, like let's say this color is a yellow. You're going to put something that's going to contrast really well with that. Like a blue. Blue will always contrast with, or purple will contrast with it. If you really want it, you just look up tartans. You'll see what to use. But you're going to have that little junction, because in tartans, when you have two lines cross each other, the one where they intersect is always almost like it's got an overlay, so it's always a different color.
Yep, I understand, and that's what I attempted to get here. That's what these little orangish dots are, and I tried to make them as squared off as possible. And that was actually using Kador highlight, red highlight, because it's got a very satisfying orangish color to it, but it's not like fire engine orange or whatever. How many fire engines have you ever seen that are effing orange? I don't know where I got that from, but it's a brighter color. So that's interesting.
Can I give you some tips if I were
Please.
to improve yours?
You would do it entirely differently.
No. I think this is a good start, but I would go ahead and I would take maybe another color, and so the brown stripe that you have on there,
Yes.
I would outline that on each side with a different brighter color to really
Make it pop.
Yep. And other than that, it's pretty good.
Well, I think what I was doing with this one, Shoshie, was I was matching an existing pattern, and that's why I went the way I did. But in the future, I would certainly take that as a wonderful suggestion. Is then I would make that thicker one the brighter color, and then I would come back with this darker color as that thinner one that you described in your discussion.
And then you can also, don't get upset if your lines aren't completely straight, because you can always take your base color, whatever you use, and go back and straighten that out before you go to the next step.
Yep, absolutely. One of the things I'm looking forward to in getting kind of caught up on trolls and getting caught up on my different models is that I'll be able to spend more time on individual models and kind of do a little bit better job. And I think that in the future, I'm going to attempt when I get another, maybe when Doomy 3 comes out, maybe I'll do.
He's so cool looking, isn't he?
Maybe I'll try to do a really cool tartan for him that's very evocative and very detail-oriented and stuff like that. So he is an amazing model. I'm very, very excited for Doomy 3.
And I always recommend just go look at real tartans. The more you look at real things, the more your painting is going to, benefit from that.
I was watching The Joy of Painting today. I was kind of getting back to my roots. I've actually, a little step behind the curtain here. I've had some doubts about the show recently and whether or not it makes sense to continue it. And what I did was I kind of I sat down and I here on Black Wednesday or whatever they called it when Amazon had its big Prime sale. They put up all of the they put 2 seasons of Bob Ross up on Prime, and I watched a Joy painting for the first time in probably 5-6 years, and I forgot how amazing that show really was.
Yes.
God, the effects he's able to pull off in no time flat, plus his attitude. It's just such a calming and welcoming kind of a show. And I thought to myself, I thought back a couple of years, 2.5 years ago, to where this show got it started, and I think I'd kind of lost my way. I had kind of, in the chasing of this, that, and the other thing, I think that we kind of got away from what this show was all about, which was, just a gathering of friends, getting together on a Sunday night, and exchanging some tips, and painting some stuff, and having some shenanigans, and and that's what we're going to get the show back to that. I think we're going to focus back in on that a little bit, and not worry about other things, and just have us brushheads have a good old time together. So I'm glad to see so many people are here tonight. 26 people is a darn good good count.
That's great.
Yep, it's a wonderful
Absolutely.
it's a wonderful count for us. And I here's to all of you folks who are joining us tonight. This one's for you, the brushheads, the one to make it happen. Hey, Ron.
Yay.
So, and that is it's nice that I kind of had this epiphany on this particular evening, because we're really here to celebrate the kind of the stuff that makes Painting with Menoth John, and that is the Brushhead Gallery. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to punch up the Brushhead Gallery, because as soon as I put down my bottle of rum and John gets his next beverage, the opening of, oops, that's the wrong button. The opening of a bottle of beer or what have you on this show signifies the kind of fellowship that we've come to expect on this show. So we are going to go ahead and, honestly, the brushhead that Tadgo did will always be a part of this particular segment.
It's super legit.
Yeah, it is.
The best
Super
ever.
legit.
Yep, it is absolutely super legit. He is legendary brushhead. I think, Tadgo, just for tonight, we're gonna bump you up to ultra legendary. We're gonna unlock that level for you. And so we've got 12 different brushheads submitted for this one. Thank you to each and every one of them. And keep in mind, if you're a new viewer to the show, this isn't about making the highest quality paint job in history. It's about you did some painting and you had fun. We got to get back to the fun aspect of it. And
Yes.
and so thanks again to the best fans on the internet. I every week we come and we do this show, and it's because you guys are awesome. So let's get to the Brushhead Gallery. And we're going to start off with Rave Bomb, Mr. Barry Holmes. And I'm going to try and take this guy. So are you guys able to see this on your stream?
We're probably a couple seconds behind.
Yeah, we're a little bit.
There we go.
What's interesting is since we switched to XSplit, it seems
Yeah.
like our lag is 1,000 times better.
Indeed.
Okay, I see it now. Yay.
I am confused with Brave Bomb painting Circle, though. I don't know what he's doing there.
No, Ray Bomb is the bomb because he's playing Circle, and that's the right faction.
Now,
That's what I play. Go Rave
Well-
Bomb.
Well, last time, I think, if I recall correctly, he sent us a picture of his entire Retribution army painted. So I guess he did have to move on to something.
he's moving on.
Oh, okay.
So here we go. We have some excellent woofies. And we have, of course, the bark node down there in the lower left.
The original, except no substitutes.
Exactly. We have I believe that is the new, those are both ferals, are they not? Both Gunner and Wraith?
One's a feral, one's a pureblood.
One's
'Cause
no.
The pureblood's got the armor on his head, and the feral doesn't have armor on his head.
Ah.
Is it? Maybe that's the new model because the pureblood I have looks different.
Yeah, that's the plastic one.
Yeah, this is a
Okay.
plastic
I also play Circle.
Okay.
It's
And I
like
have a question. Are those names on the bottom? Are they the names of his? Did he name his models Gunner and Wraith?
Absolutely.
Looks that way.
That's
cool.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah, go ahead.
My Gorax is named Gorangatang because he's painted like an
Nice.
orangutan.
Nice.
That's awesome. Orangutan.
Little known fact that all of the war beasts in my troll army, the Tatak reel, are named after strong fictional female characters. except one who's named Rory, because I have another. I have another one that's called Amy Pond. So I needed to have. Amy can't go on without a little bit of Rory. So there you go.
There you go.
Um,
Yeah, they do, don't they? They roll better.
They do, absolutely. Now this is making the cockles of my heart warm. We have some entries here from John Snodgrass.
I know him.
And John submitted some beautiful looking trolls.
Oh yeah.
So
I love the runes on Madrak's base. That's super legit.
absolutely.
I'm a little bit behind. Here we go. Let's see. I see it now.
The one I like here that really catches my eye, and I agree, those runes are super legit. I really love on the bouncer. I like the white on his chin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the highlighting work on that's really. The other thing, if you notice up here on his fingers are highlighted too. So you got the shadows that are from here, and then you've got this. And I think that's really amazing.
He's got a good tartan pattern on Madrak too. It's subtle and it's strong because Madrak's like kind of a no nonsense type of guy.
Yeah, and he's got the right axe in his hand too.
Yeah.
So you dirty bastards in Circle went and stole his axe.
I gotta put that guy together.
What's that?
I gotta put that guy together.
Oh, he's a fun caster to play. Although if you're gonna play one of the two Madraks, of course, I'm a little partial to Madrak too.
I meant Cormac too. My bad.
Oh, F you.
Oh, he's got to put that one.
Remember, I got rid of my trolls.
Cormac the thief.
Cindervale's got my trolls now.
Cormac the thief.
That's his actual name, Cormac the thief.
Hey,
I like it.
You stole his axes first, then you had a swamp troll eat them and poop them out.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Of his models here, my favorites are the Lancers and the Axer up there.
Yep.
But I'm kind of upset with Privateer Press for getting rid of the chicken carcasses that they used to hold.
Oh wait, there's one right there. There's one right here.
Because I think John said something about he put them on. I can't remember, but or maybe those are the old models.
Those are the old ones. The new plastic ones don't have them, I don't think.
Okay.
See, I've got 7 Impalers, so I've got a mix of plastic and metal ones. So, yeah.
Have you named them already? I have perfect names for 7 of them.
No, they're not going to be named the dwarfs.
No. Really? Little credit here. Little.
Okay. But
you can either go the 7 Samurai or you can go the Magnificent 7.
That would have been cool, but they're not female, so they would not have worked.
No.
And remember, this
That's
is
fair.
the Tatak reel, and we're all about the boobies. So.
Well, then you could go for Battle Beyond the Stars. I mean, there was at least one female there. And
Valkyrie
another guy was kind of female.
Yep. Yeah. So let's move on to we got some Dire Troll Maulers here. We got a passel of them. We have a couple extremes, or actually it's one extreme from a couple different angles, and then we also have the I think that's the old school metal model.
That's the old school metal one. Yep.
And boy, do I love that. Look at the highlighting here on the blending that he did.
Oh yeah, I've seen these.
Yeah,
He really busted butt on that extreme. I've painted that before, and that is not an easy model to paint either.
I need to get me one of them.
He did a nice job.
I'm in for trolls for the long haul. I need to get me an extreme mauler.
Trolls were my first Hordes faction, and I still have a really big soft spot for them. I still love them.
Mm-hmm. And they're so good right now. Anyway. All right. So thanks, John. I really appreciate these fantastic
beautiful.
Fantastic submissions here to the Brushhead Gallery. Now, Robert Dorefsky is with us week in and week out. Love this guy. And he sent us some really interesting stuff. On this first one, we've got a kind of a very really good-looking ruin here on the right-hand side with a very scenic base. And, I just feel like the further you put a jack up in the air, the easier it is to play. And this is just a beautiful ruin.
It's gorgeous.
Robert, I wish you would have sent me a picture of just that top picture where I could have blown it up and really gotten into the details, because as I look here, I look at the shading and stuff that you did around the top here with the purplish ruins, and I'd love to have blown that up to a larger size, but this was kind of the best I could do with it. But man, Ruin I think one of the best sculpts they've done in a long time. As a Khador Jack, that Jack
yeah.
alone makes me want to get into that faction.
I have one issue with it, and that's that they had to go and use the pure blood as the pelt.
Absolutely, because it's a dead circle model, just like it ought to be.
No, but that model, and I love the kind of dark, dusty looking, shadows on that.
Yeah.
And it just looks like he's kind of old and, cantankerous old Jack that's been around a long time, especially with the, war trophy on him.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. And then, of course, we have the Blighted Bather over here, which you got to love for the pinup quality. Got to love the pinups.
And the rubber ducky shredder.
Absolutely. Who doesn't want a rubber ducky shredder? They could make a mint with
But the pinup
those.
is so tasteful that, it's awesome.
Absolutely. Pinups are rocking. Tasteful pinups are rocking.
Yes.
So here's some more. We have the Thagrosh the Painter model here.
Yep.
And you'll notice that he painted it as a Winsor Newton Series 7, which was the correct way of painting that brush.
That's great. How did he do that? Is that a complete conversion? Like he made that?
No, this is actually a model.
That's an alternate they made.
Oh, now I need
Took out his
that.
sword, gave him a paintbrush. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
Shoshie,
cool.
you can get that on the Privateer Press website.
I'm gonna have to get that one.
Yeah. If I played anything related to Legion, that would absolutely be my Thagrosh one.
I agree, but I have a soul, so I can't do that.
Yes. I mean, if Thagrosh is an artist, I'm all about him.
Yeah, but then there's the rest of the faction, and to hell with them. So
I don't usually like Legion because they really kick Circle's butt half the time, but
yeah,
they take away all our tricks.
yeah.
Truth.
And us trolls look at you both and go, F you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on here to we got Will Burke, Revengeance Full. Love this guy. Now, these are some amazing models. I really love where he's headed with this stuff. So we have the Bogtrog Shamblers down here on the left-hand side with the Bowcur doing a thing. And they're straight up out of a Technicolor nightmare.
That's true.
They are very bright, and I think there's a bit of a metagame going on with these ones. You get these brightly colored models. They probably are decoying you a little bit from maybe what he's really looking for. And then I love the conversion work on the Feral Geist. You'll see he's taken a Titan head, and he has modeled the Feral Geist to have the tusks of a Titan also.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, if you're a soul of a Titan, wouldn't you want the big old tusks?
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm just always impressed with anybody who can convert things like that. I mean, I never get that creative with pulling apart models and putting them back together in new ways.
It's super fun. If I have one thing I wish Private Test would do, I wish they'd make more multi-part models, a little more posability. It would be so much. It's so much fun.
Yeah, agreed.
It is.
Yeah, agreed. 100% on that. Maybe what? Maybe with the coming of the polystyrene kits, we'll see more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I
Or
wanna
honestly,
also-
if you go ahead.
I was going to point out Will's basing on the bog. What are they called? Bogtrogs?
Bogtrog Shamblers.
They're sitting they're totally standing in mud.
Yeah,
and it's
that's very cool.
muddy looking. I like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job. Now, here's an example, and Will provided this. He referred to it as sort of a basic stone-themed immortal unit. Now, here's what I love about this unit, is that you guys, you want to talk about picking a color scheme that will be very quick to paint. And a lot of times, a lot of people's barriers to having a fully painted army or a fully painted list even is that it takes they're maybe a little bit slower at painting, and maybe sometimes the key is picking a color scheme that will paint quickly. And you'll notice here he has picked a color scheme that will paint very, very quickly. Essentially, this is a very simple base coat, some dry brushing, and then he sweated the details on the jewels so that you have that one little part that go, oh, look at that. It's not just a quick dry brush job. Look at these beautiful jewels.
They have a very spectral quality to them. They remind me of the army in Lord of the Rings, the Ghost Army.
Yeah, especially the green unit over here. And he's got 2 units of the Immortals. And the way he has chosen to have them easily identifiable is you have the red jewel unit and you've got the green jewel unit. So the choices that Will has made on these have made them not only playable, but also very beautiful. And I think that's really wonderful.
Plus, there's enough difference in the colors. You can actually see the contrast even in these sort of further away shots, which is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
So hats off to you, Will. Really appreciate these. Thanks for the submission. And I'd be remiss if this is my favorite Minuteman of all time. This is he went ahead and modeled it actually in jump mode, where he's got the smoke coming off of it, and he's modeled it with green stuff, and I really, really like that. And what he commented in his email is that he likes to, when he's got multiple of the same model, he likes to make them very obviously different so that his opponents, as well as himself, can keep track of which one's been attacked or hasn't attacked.
That's a good suggestion for anyone, honestly.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And this technique, if I remember right, because we've had people do this kind of in the past, is you're taking a piece of brass rod, and he's brass rodded it up into the engine port here, and then back down, and then it's taken a long snake of green stuff, and then just wraps it around and around and around and around, and that's how you get that smoke effect.
He probably actually did a core of green stuff for the beginning, let that dry, and then put it around. That's actually an easier way. And a good suggestion for anyone doing anything with green stuff that's going to be more than a little bit, use brass rod as a core of it, and then do as much as you can as solid green stuff, then sculpt the outer layer of it to make whatever you want.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Anything else on this one before we move on?
Nope.
Thank you very much,
good.
Will. It looks fantastic. So here's Jeff Brommel, otherwise known as Keg Tapper, and he sent an email in saying that he had taken a little bit of break from painting his trolls, and he had these models primed on his table for a very long time, and finally got around to it. Here we have, of course, a Gnarlhorn Satyr in a couple of different directions, and then we have a Stalker.
Oh, nice.
Super bringing the circle to the house here on the Brushhead Gallery this month, this quarter.
All right. I just am loving the shading on the face and how it's blending out to the, mouth. And then he's got this, I don't know, the way he's done the hair and accentuated, I think it looks amazing.
I completely agree. I mean, that is really what a goat looks like, too. I mean, you've got that kind of lighter color around the nose on a lot of goats. And not that I hang around a lot of goats. I just don't want anybody to think about that. But
I'm currently
I love that Gnarlhorn model. That Gnarlhorn is such a good model.
Beautiful. Is that the old metal one or is that the newer one?
It's the metal one.
Yep.
Ugh.
Except no substitutes.
I've been doing research on goat horns recently because I'm painting Brennos for P3.
Oh, cool.
And that is exactly how goat horns look.
I couldn't get past. I've been doing a lot of research on goat horns lately. It's like, what are you, a freaking Satanist? Anyway.
No, on the color.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, and I like his feral, or is it? No, that's a stalker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, stalker sword. Yep.
Yeah.
So next up is a longtime Brushhead, Tracy Carter, and she's working hard on her cricks, and she has, of course, the UA for the Bane Thralls, and I want to warn her a little bit on this one. You'll notice that the Death Jack appears to be sneaking into the picture on the lower right-hand side. And I think you need to watch out there, Tracy, because you can't trust a Death Jack. You just can't. No. And especially when I think he's he thinks he's slyer than he is because he shouldn't have left himself out here. Also, best light box ever, the use of
notebook paper.
So, necessity is the mother of invention, and this is a mother. Let me tell you what.
Can I give a little hint to people?
Absolutely. I know Tracy is the one that asked about the pink, and we're going to get to that.
Okay.
So she's very interested in getting some tips from you.
So, as far as printing out backgrounds, when I was first learning to do it, because I was posting to Coolmini or not, I would Google light blue fade. And then you find it, so it's just an image of a blue fade, and then you print it out, and there you have your blue fade to put out as a backdrop, and it actually photographs really nice.
Nice. And as for the models, I think these are looking really good. They, I know
like the
she's
colors.
she's very into the purples on her stuff. So I love purple too. I think it's a wonderful color, and I would assume that's the beaten purple. And I've used that in a lot of models. So thanks for the submission, Tracy. Really appreciate it.
And I like the green / turquoise she's got going through the models too. Having a uniting color like that's always awesome.
Very harmonious.
And she also challenged me to a game against Body and Soul, my favorite list in the entire Hordes catalog, at Warmachine Weekend. She's going to be making it to Warmachine Weekend. So
Cool.
I'm thinking about, John, I'm thinking about having a bit of a Brushhead meetup at Warmachine Weekend.
I'm thinking about going, but it's my birthday weekend, so I'm not sure I'm going yet.
If you go on your weekend, we will give you a hell of a birthday party.
Oh, that would rock.
We will.
I might have to do that then.
We can't guarantee you'll remember it, but it will be a hell of a time.
Bring the hubby. We'll have a great time.
Bring tequila.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I think we probably ought to plan on that. If you're listening to this, be prepared for a Brushhead meetup at Warmachine Weekend, because we'll have a little. I've got a room to myself, and we'll do a little something. So it'll be great.
Great.
So anyway, here's from Miles Healy. We can never get enough Berkas.
Love him. Oh my God.
Love the dark green skin tones.
Borica.
Borica. The Borka 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what Borka looks like when you put a front stripe down the middle of it. It becomes Borica.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I get it.
It's his charge stripe.
I get it.
But I like Borica. Hello, I am Borica, and I am here for you.
Tequila is starting to work.
I'm Borica. Borico Suave.
This is really funny.
And he's running with his favorite guys, the Tuffalos. So thanks for the submission, Miles. That's fantastic. Here's some from Declan Lowry. I don't know what game these particular models are from.
Ooh, let me see if I can identify them.
They might be Bushido, but they don't look quite Asian enough.
Could be Bushido, could be Wild West Exodus.
Really? With this,
I think more likely Wild West Exodus or something like that, because they're on the 30s. I don't think Bushido uses those bases. Bushido uses square bases, if I recall correctly.
So could be Wild West Exodus, and in which case I have no damn idea what these are, but they're beautiful. And
the bottom one is my favorite. I mean, that is just gorgeous.
With the cloak and all, he's cool.
We painted each one of those little feathers.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. So Declan, I mean, he's Irish. What do you want? So there you go.
That's great.
Thanks, Declan. Really appreciate it. It's been a bit of a dry spell for Declan. He hasn't painted in quite some time, so it's great to see him back putting some paint on the models. Now, J.D. Hagler outdid himself with this ruin. He did a He did a repose on it, and he added a new flag to it in the background. This is the best ruin I've ever seen.
Oh my God! I've seen this before. I hate it because it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's legit. And I love that pose of Penny Jack with like a shield or a buckler, where he's sort of holding it up and kind of a humanish pose. Using the shield to block like that. I love that.
Yep, and it gives you for me, what it does is it evokes, like, it's almost like it's battling against a wind or something, because the flag is blowing up behind him.
It's got a sense of motion.
It does, and that is so hard to pull off.
What makes this for me is that robin's egg blue. That's just, I mean, you would never think to put that with a red Kador, and it makes it so unique, and it also kind of ages him a little bit too, in a way.
I love the battle damage on the flag. Look, the cloth tear on the flag in the back, on the lower right.
It's crazy good.
Yep. So, JD, hats off to you. Thank you for submitting this. One of my favorite models we've ever had on the Brushhead Gallery. Now, Brett Painter, God bless his soul, he's recovering from a terrible ear infection, but he took the time out to send us a submission for the Brushhead Gallery. And here's a panda Berka, or Borica, as he will always be to me. Borica Suave.
Oh my gosh, that's so great! Oh, I love it when people do different things with the bear.
Yep.
A friend of mine Sarah, she lives in Australia. She did a sun bear, and I
Aw.
think it looked really great. But this with the purples and the golds, and then the panda, that's a really unique bear cut for sure.
Yep.
All of his trolls look pretty good.
Yeah.
Turns out Brett
In-
Painter's a pretty damn good painter.
He needs like a little stick of bamboo in the bear's hand, like.
That'd be sweet. Maybe you could put exactly. And
Yeah, he or Dowdark can do that because I think Dowdark's Berica is also a panda.
Yeah, that's awesome.
so Brett Painter is a part of a group known as Geek Garage, and if you look up them on the interwebs, they're a group that's based out of Ogden, Utah, and Brett used to live in Ogden, Utah. So go check them out. They are wonderful painters and fantastic guys, and Brett is a member of that group. So check them out on the internets. And
Okay.
Even though he's currently stuck in Maryland.
Yep. And when you see him, say Borica sent you.
Borica.
Also,
Oh my!
here's another one that Brett sent us as well, and this is the best. This is the best damn rock I've ever seen. This is such an expressive model, the way he's painted them, and his trolls are kind of reddish skinned, and this is just beautiful.
Yeah, and it's based off the metal mauler, so it's super cool.
Yep.
Oh, it's great.
So there's
I
there's
haven't seen a mauler with a weapon before, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, this is Rock. This is the character Mauler. And what Brett here has done is he's converted a metal Mauler into Rock using I kind of did the same thing when I did my Blood of Martyrs for Protectorate. I'd taken a metal Crusader and then remachined the parts necessary to make it into the right model. And he did the same thing here with this one, and the effect is amazing. Great job, Brett.
How did he do the hand? That's what I can't figure out. Because did he get that from another part, or?
Well, the hand is actually the metal rock hand. He probably just cut it
from
off
rock.
at some point, pinned it or glued it together, and then just puttied in the whatever gaps there.
Yeah, he probably rebuilt the muscles on it and stuff to get it to look right.
And that little
It's actually-
beard,
that's
the braid is
not
a
as-
nice touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
So,
awesome.
Great looking model, Brett. Thank you. Here's a newer Brushhead. We haven't had a submission from David. DCAM 321. Here is a unit of warders. Actually, 2 units of warders. And I really like the job that he did on here. I like the green skin. I super love the highlighting on the purple.
I like the going with opposite colors, the green and the purple.
Yep. It would be a little difficult to tell which unit was which on as far as the colors and stuff like that. But boy, are these they're very beautifully done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's nice. It's really nice.
And when I get to his next picture, he carries this kind of muted green and purple thing into other models too, and he's got a really beautiful set of fire eaters. Now, in his world, fire is purple, and I think it really, really works for him in this model. So here's a unit of his fire eaters.
Oh yeah, the purple flower brings back bad memories.
I got half of what I am excited about for the Croak Raiders is
so gorgeous.
I know, right? It's a beautiful model. Half of what I'm excited about the Croak Raiders for is being able to set these guys on fire reliably. It's gonna be amazing.
The colors in here. Okay, so purple, orange, and green are tertiary colors. So that means they're like opposite red, yellow, and blue. And so they always look good together. So if you want a good color scheme, that's my color scheme for my Circle Army. And brown is on the orange spectrum, so that counts as orange.
Yeah, it's kind of like I can see that because brown always is a little bit of red and orangish pull to it. And man, I didn't understand the color theory behind it, but I knew what I liked, and this is a beautiful.
Yep, they will always look good together, and so will red, yellow, and blue. I mean, definitely the color theory behind this, and then he's got a yellow as an accent color that pops everything out.
Super beautiful, David. And then of course we have we're gonna finish up our slideshow with Chris Surrey, who's just an absolutely amazing painter. And
Oh, he's crazy good. His dioramas, oh my God.
he's a sick and twisted individual. And
He likes torture because he really puts himself through it when you see what he does.
look,
Yep. Oh my God.
look
I
at-
haven't seen this one before.
look at the vein. He's getting prepped for Gen Con. And
Yeah, I know.
he allowed I had when he sent me these pictures, I had to ask permission if I could show them because of Gen Con coming up, and he said, "Yeah, go ahead and show them." He's got some other ones he did not share with me. So what does that tell you? That tells
Yeah,
you that this is his less good work.
Chris, I want to meet you when we go to Gen Con.
If you come
It's
to
gonna be
War
awesome.
Machine Weekend, he's there all the time.
You'll be there too. But yeah, so I've seen some of the things that he's been working on, and I'm competing against him, and I'm a little anxious. So we'll see.
And you know what? The fact of the matter is, no matter what happens, he's just such a great guy and a good father, and so he's winning all
Yeah.
the times, peoples. So nothing but great karma for him. This is a beautiful Absolonia too.
This is really gorgeous.
Yep,
Yeah, it's nice.
Love
The vein work
veins.
in the wing and the little spots. I mean, that's incredible detail.
Out of control.
Speaking of veins, did you see that fire eater on the Warma Hordes painting Facebook page? This guy-
Yes, that's my friend Michelle Blasenbry, and she said that she was asking me, she's like, I want to do a translucent sketch. She was wanting to do albino trolls. And I was like, well, you know the fluff about albino trolls, right? And she's like, no. And I said, well, they tend to be casters and stuff. And so I said, just tint them a little bit more blue and you'll be cool. And so, yeah, but she's amazing too.
She did translucent skin, so she put
Mm-hmm.
veins in, and then must have done a glaze over the top of it.
Yep.
And-
She researched veins, and I told her, I said, research really pale redhead to get.
Yeah, I might have to do that research after the show. But anyway, so I mean, this is just beautiful, and that I really want to try to duplicate that on a model I don't care about because I'm gonna need some practice. So it's gonna hit the green stuff and the jewelry cleaner a few times while I try to figure it out.
That's what I do with my Reaper bones. Those Reaper bones are so awesome for stuff like that.
Yeah, you can just throw them away. It's like whatever.
I do a lot of-
I mean,
I use a lot of
they're
old
60
chubby
cents
models.
each. I mean, if
Yeah.
you got the Kickstarter, yeah.
And then Chris also wanted to show you that it's not only just Warman Hordes crap that he does. He also takes X-wing stuff and makes it frickin' amazing. Here we have a Lambda class shuttle for the X-wing game, and he's doing some battle damage and rust on it. And honest to sweet Lord baby Jesus,
No,
this is
right?
yeah. This is also going into a contest as well. I guess they've started to do contests for painting the pre-painted miniatures. So-
Repaints are the best. That
Oh.
is awesome.
Yep, this is such a beautiful job, and ladies and gentlemen, that is our Brushhead gallery for.
Really glad that Chris is my friend, so I can
Yep.
ask him stuff.
Well, I think we're all glad that Chris is our
Yeah.
friend because you don't want to hate somebody that's that talented.
I know.
But I'm also glad that there were 27 people watching this.
Yeah.
They can get a feel for kind of what the show's all about, and the Brushhead gallery I think epitomizes what we tried to get done here on the show. Great work, thanks to everybody. John, you have a D12, do you not?
I do. I'm even gonna try something crazy and grab my camera up here.
Okay, he's gonna grab a camera. This
Grab
is
his
all
camera.
new tech, ladies and gentlemen. This is camera tech, and
You're gonna have to tell me how that picture's coming in.
hang on for a second. I'm trying to get the Brushhead gallery back up because I turned it off. Okay, I can kind of see a table, John. Yep, I see your
My
hand.
hand?
Yeah, I see your hand
Okay.
waving.
Let's
Okay,
see if
we're-
we can see this.
We're gonna roll a D12 and the number 4. So this is
There you
1,
go.
2, 3, 4. Robert Darevsky. Darevsky,
Oh, there you
you
go.
have Robert. You have gone ahead and won yourself a set of the beautiful Games and Gears Ichiban
Oh, I'm jealous.
brushes. These are all 4 of these here, and you'll get the carrying case too, and your little dog Toto too, and go ahead and send an email to pwmenothjohn@gmail.com with your address, and I have bubble envelopes right over there, and I will get that out in the mail tomorrow for you. So glad you could submit that, and becoming that we're going to do this each quarter. We're going to have ourselves some kind of a giveaway. We have loot, thanks to Games and Gears, and I think that's a wonderful thing. And it'll always be random. It's never, ever, ever going to be based on, we like this one best, or any of that crap.
Yeah, no.
Because Chris Suri wins everything already.
Well, yeah.
Chris.
So
I love random painting awards. We give them at tournaments. We don't do best painted, or if we do, we also do random prize award just because you had painted, because that's the best way.
Yep.
That guy put time in too. He deserves a chance at a prize.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's how it'll always be here at Painting with Menoth, John. And honestly, it's the patrons that make this happen. We're going to have the eventually Power Couple Death Match is going to end, and we're going to buy that from the patron money. John?
I've got more word on that.
Update, folks. What's going on with Power Couple Death Match?
We are tentatively a go to record that for Pillars Assault.
So Pillars
We're
Assault.
just about to talk about it this week, so it'll probably be a couple weeks out, probably about 3 weeks. I've got some moving and stuff to work out, but
Sure.
We're going to work it out.
So we were going to ship Captain Crew the last 2 rounds, but Pillars Assault, our sister podcast, the one that does the battle reports, I'm working on getting their logo up here along with ours. I'll get it eventually, I hope. And
we're working on getting some more battle reports out. We're just a little dry spell gearing up for a full release, not this beta stuff we put out.
So let me get this right. You had a little bit of a dry spell, and now you're looking forward to a full release.
Yes.
Okay, so double entendre. I guess my mind is thoroughly in the gutter.
Oh, no, I knew where you were going. I just chose not to acknowledge it.
Oh man, you left me hanging. Like, see what I did there too? Left me hanging. See what I did? I'm always shooting for that explicit rating. Shoshie, your camera has locked up solid. I mean, it's a nice pic. It's a nice picture to get locked up on. But yep, no, it's cool. That's cool. Illinois. It's the internet's in Illinois.
Do like this, and then let it freeze in that.
Exactly. You're pursing your lips a little bit in the picture, which is not unattractive. So there you go. Anyway, so there you go. Now, usually we would launch into a we're trying to keep our formats good and all that kind of stuff. Not a lot of questions. John, did you have any painting questions that you wanted to throw here?
Well, actually, I've got about 5 flippity bloops or so.
Well, for God's sakes, flippity bloop.
All right. Well, this is one from Dowdark from last week. He asked us a week in advance. Rank the 4 comic TV shows in order of best to worst. And the ones he lists are Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, Flash, and iZombie.
Oh, I've never seen iZombie. So for me, I'm going to go with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., probably Flash second, Arrow next, and then I'll put the one I haven't seen at the bottom.
Okay. Shoshie, have you seen any of them?
No.
That's okay.
I've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I didn't really care for it.
It's okay.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. We won't hate you that much.
Okay. I've been painting too much. I've been doing painting hangouts and stuff, so I haven't watched a lot of TV recently. We also got rid of cable, so.
You
That's
do
fair.
a ton for the community, my friend. So we'll let you off the hook this time.
So I've only seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow. I haven't seen any of Flash yet. So I'll rank Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. first, Arrow second, and then Flash, then iZombie.
I'm so done with zombies.
Yeah, I'm not a zombie guy to begin with, and meh.
I backed the second Kickstarter of Zombicide, and I have yet to even open the boxes.
That's unfortunate.
So you want to hear a funny Kickstarter story real quickly? I backed the Ninja All Stars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those were good.
I was high on OxyContin after my hernia surgery.
Oh.
And I was high, and I backed a project. Bad times, man. Judgment, not what it should have been.
That's funny.
I am not even in the least interested in that game.
More funny is I haven't received anything for Robotech yet.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. I only ordered a handful of limited models because I wasn't sold on the game, rightfully apparently, and I haven't even gotten those. No word on when they're coming out. I'm not pleased with it, considering I've backed and received stuff for Kickstarters in the meantime.
Wow.
And the one
I
I'm
got
most excited for is there's one called Double Six Dice, which are 12 sideds. They go 1 to 6 and 1 to 6. And while he's taking a long time, I get bi-weekly updates. He's got a blog updating. I know where exactly that is. I know what's been taking him so long. It's great.
Cool.
I got a sprue of Robotech in my Adepticon swag bag. So that's kind of sad that you haven't gotten anything yet.
They're filling
Yeah.
swag bags, but they haven't taken care of their Kickstarters. That's super awesome.
I have a
Yeah.
couple models from Gen Con a couple years ago. Dan, the owner of Drop Zone Games, got me some stuff. But yeah, nothing from Kickstarter yet.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So flippity blue.
All
Bloop.
right. Next one is from Wonky Kong. He wants to know 2D terrain versus 3D terrain, because we were having that conversation in the chat room.
Oh.
So why don't you take this one first, Shoshie?
Okay, so I'm from old school, from when Mark 1 was out, and I remember reading No Quarters where they would give these beautiful like 3D terrain like demos and like how to make them, and I think I'm always going to be 3D because, and even though it's hard to set up your models around them sometimes, it's just so blah now. Nobody does it in my store, and we have like little pieces of felt to represent stuff, and it's just it doesn't inspire me. And when it used to be 3D, it's like I could almost play Warmachine as a role-playing game, and I could get really into playing it.
I think you've hit on a very interesting point. John, I'd like to hear your opinion. I'll finish it off.
All right. I understand how precise you can be with 2D terrain, and I love how mobile you can be with it because you can take the stuff with you everywhere.
Yep.
That being said, no. Just no. If I am playing with actual physical models, I want actual physical terrain. I don't care how much it screws up the preciseness of the game or anything.
Yep.
This is why I got in the hobby, for the visuals. I mean, fair points that you like. If I walked into a tournament and all they had was 2D terrain, I would thank the organizer, make sure there was an even number without me, and then I would leave.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's in a different place than I'm at. I think that there are two answers to this question. I think there is the Masters Iron Gauntlet kind of answer, which I think that where you have Warmachine's in a weird place right now. It's in a weird place. There's two different games getting played right now. There is the game John and Shoshie that you and I play, which is we get our friends together and we put our little toy soldiers on the table and we have a good old time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have a growler of Scotch ale with us, which is what's going to happen on Tuesday. And I'm super excited because Adam Ball is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and I'm going to get to play games with my buddy and get a little bit hammered. It's going to be awesome. That is one game that is being played. There's a different game being played at the top tables of major conventions. Yeah. And that game is... There's actually a fair bit on the line between recent sponsorships and, God bless them, Patreon and everything else that goes on. There's actually a little bit of money involved in the game these days. Not a lot, but I mean notoriety and EP and things like that. And I
don't mind notoriety and reputation, but money shouldn't be a thing. As soon as money's involved in a game, bad things happen.
I understand.
Look at Magic.
I understand. But I mean, what for those people? I listen to some of the top players on various and sundry podcasts talk about it. I think that the stuff that Muse is selling is as good as you humanly can do with a flat piece of terrain.
Absolutely. And like I said, I love it for traveling. If you're going to travel and you want to have terrain with you, hats off. If you've got a small apartment or something, you want to be able to play games at home, boom, it's awesome. But
but I'm not playing
outside of that. Oof.
But I will say I will say this. I'm just going to finish my point, and I'd love to hear what you have to say, Shoshie. I think that for that level, for the top table, for the Warmachine Invitationals and those kinds of things, where there's that kind of stuff is going on, flat terrain, I don't have so much of a problem with. because it is a much more precise game with that stuff going on.
What I was going to say was that I have seen some flat terrain that I really like, and that's one of my friends had a huge table. Basically, it was like a giant mouse pad that he had printed, kind of like from Fathead or something like. I'm not sure who he got it from, but I thought that was brilliant. I'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah, Frontline Gaming.
And yep, that was amazing.
Those are beautiful.
So what I want to say about the top tables being 2D terrain,
Yeah,
I don't want that representing the hobby.
fair enough.
That's
Yeah.
not the hobby. I don't.
Agreed.
I feel like if it gets to that point, maybe we've gone too far. And honestly, the top players, and I want to say this out loud, those guys have a really, really good handle on it. None of them that I've really ever talked to or met, even listened to online or on a podcast, are getting too big for their britches or anything.
Here's the
They're
counter.
all really grounded and great guys in the community, which I think is saving us.
Yeah,
It's
and,
good.
I mean,
It's
the
really
people
good.
who are playing those top tables are genuinely good people. I know a large percentage of them, and I would, hell, we have people like Will Pagani on the show all the time. Why? Because Will's effing amazing to talk to as a human being.
Yeah.
The thing that I will counter a little bit is when they're doing, if you want a really precise game, if that is your goal, that a lot of times now, because of the advent of precision measuring sets, which you can buy a Painting with Menoth John precision measuring kit at Muse on Mini's store. But anyway,
And it measures very precisely. I've been using it.
right, because of the soul of the eagle that is trapped in the 6-inch one, and the soul of the parakeet in the 5-inch, and the tiger blood.
I have not lost a game with my Painting with Mount John precision measuring set.
Nor
I might
should
have
you.
to do that. I might have to get some of that.
Shoshie, you can get them at museonminis.com. If you go to
Okay.
click on the store, and then if you I believe if you search Painting with Menoth John, you will find it, and you'll notice that there's a picture of me on each of them, cosplaying as Bob Ross, and
I need those then. Yes.
there's a glow around me, and that is caused by the soul of an eagle that was trapped inside that widget.
Happy little eagle.
Well, it was happy, and then we ripped its soul out to make the widget.
It's forever happy.
Now
Never
that
happened.
they stopped using DDT as an insecticide, there's way too many fucking eagles. And there's fucking eagles everywhere. Eagles are everywhere right now. They're like a fucking plague. And we're trying to combat that plague by ripping their souls out and sticking them in our widgets along with tiger blood. There's too many tigers too, because if you let your dog loose in Africa, chances are if there's a tiger nearby, that dog is fucked. So, we're
Tigers
trying.
are in India.
But there could be a tiger in Africa if it got loose, and then it wouldn't be in its natural habitat. So we'd have to kill it, and we'd take the blood and we'd make a widget.
I don't know what's happening right now.
So, anyway, I think it's a combination of
I'm just gonna
tequila and
drink more.
Kraken. Tequila and Kraken just happened.
Tequila and Kraken.
Well, here's actually part of the problem, is that there's probably not enough tigers in India because they're all in Africa.
No.
And that's why there's like 60 trillion people in India, is because there's not enough tigers eating them. Is if there was more tigers in India, if you buy Painting with Menoth John precision measuring kits, as far as you know, some of that money is going to go towards sending the tigers back to India, where they belong.
We have to do the pink thing.
What's? All right, let's talk about. No, this is much more fun. So, Tracy Carter would like to know, if you were a tiger in Africa,
No.
how would you paint pink?
Okay. There's a few things that I want to say because Privateer Press makes a beautiful pink. It's sort of called Murderous Magenta. It's actually more of a magenta, but when you put it on white primer, it gets pretty pink. Privateer Press also makes, and can you tell that's mostly what I use? They also make Carnal Pink, which is a really pretty pink. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll paint Murderous Magenta first, and then I will highlight on top a lighter color like Carnal Pink and blend that out.
So what you're saying here is now, so your highlight color for the Murderous Magenta would be the Carnal Pink, and this is
I mean, they're really separate, but I want to show you. So let me get to what I'm saying, because I'm blending this out on the top of the Carnal Pink, but I'm not going to leave it like that, because
are you painting right now? Because your camera's been locked up for about the last.
Oh, is it? Let me fix it.
10 minutes or so. It never came back. See, there's the fetching picture of you with the stormtrooper head.
Yeah.
And
the funny thing about that T-shirt, it says in tiny, tiny print under it, I'm staring at your girlfriend's rack.
Very
nice.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
I can't get away with saying that. So
can you see me? Can you see me now?
Can you see me now? Yeah, this is like a Verizon Skype ad. Can you see me now?
Can you see me now? So I've painted. I don't know if you can see that.
I can totally see it.
Really sloppily. I've painted because I'm tequila'd out. I painted the Carnal Pink on top of the magenta, and I'm going to blend it so that it actually looks nice now.
Okay. You'll notice right now that she is using a Winsor Newton Series 7 paintbrush, which actually has the soul of an otter in it, or a whatever the hell, sable.
Yeah.
A sable.
Weasel.
Weasels are used in good brushes. So when you need to, when you want to paint with a weasel, pick Winsor Newton Series 7.
Little known fact, there is actually not sable hair in this. It's just the sable weasel. So there's weasel hair. That's why it got banned for a little while in the U.S. because they confused it. It's actually not a sable.
So
okay. So wait.
So it's okay to kill a weasel, but not a sable?
Yeah, because you can farm. Well, they don't kill them. They farm them, and they just pull the hair out of their tail. And
oh my God! Well, they're still alive?
Yeah, they don't kill them. They don't need to. They just get the hair, and then they let the hair grow back. And
it's like weasel Schwitz. It's terrible.
Okay, so I have that. Now I'm going to take my Murderous Magenta again, and I'm going to thin that out a lot with a little water.
So this is like where a wet palette might come in handy?
Wet palette, or you can just make a glaze or a wash. Probably glaze, if you know what glaze is. So then I'm going to glaze back over the chalky color that I had in the past. That was my Carnal Pink.
My experience with the Carnal Pink is that it dries like super fast.
It does. But you can see how that kind of smoothed things out a little bit.
Indeed. Especially, no, that's right on that on the left-hand side there. You went back over that. Look at you lick that brush. That's terrible for you. There are terrible chemicals.
These paints are non-toxic, so
that doesn't mean they're a food ingredient.
No, and they're also not tasty. They're not tasty.
Actually, they're not too bad. So then I'm gonna go back and forth until I get just the right amount of blending. I'm gonna take my Carnal Pink again, and this time I'm gonna glaze that out so it's thin. I have to take my glasses off for this.
Keep in mind, folks, that somewhere there's a happy little tree that is very excited about this right now.
Yes.
I know. Getting old sucks, doesn't it, Shoshie?
Yes. I have bifocals, and they're too strong.
I know, right?
Yep. Okay, so because I'm going back over this slightly wet paint, it's actually really good because it's blending it in there for me almost. Okay, I'm going to show you this, and you'll see a big pop. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful.
Okay, now I got to go do it again with the magenta. And this time I'm just going to go on the edges because I want to keep the beautiful highlight that I've just created, but I want to blend it so I keep my mid-tone. I'm actually creating a mid-tone by mixing the two together.
Now, are you using the Murderous Magenta right now out of the pot itself, or do you have that in a cup?
I put a little bit in a dry palette.
Okay.
My primary blending is two-brush blending, which is the PwMJ press blending method that they primarily use. And I like it a lot, even though it does use spit and it does use brush licking. It just works for me pretty well. Okay, so I'm just making sure that that's...
Tracy, kind of keep an eye on the Warmachine weekend schedule that's coming out. I do see that Josh Salter has put in a number of hobby sessions and classes into there as well. And what Shoshie is demonstrating here is a two-brush blending technique. Keep your eyes open. There might be something for you to take as far as a class at Warmachine weekend.
Yes.
I should probably get my ass to one of those classes too, to be honest. I might actually...
Pink's really, I mean, if you get the color, here's the thing is that if you get the paints that you need, you can paint it without getting super fancy like I am. You could just do the Mortar's magenta and then do a wash of something like a little darker in the shadows. Okay, so now it's a little better even.
Oh, that's really beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. And then, so for my shadow color, I might take some beaten purple, just a little bit, because you don't want to get rid of your pink, right? Just a tiny bit. You're going to kind of dark line. And if you know what dark line means, it means you're just going to go and outline everything.
And we'd be very interested to see how this turns out. Because the nice thing about beaten purple is that it is reasonably translucent.
Yes.
And so you can
layer it really nice.
You can layer it really nicely.
It makes a really good shade for pink too.
I used a lot of beaten purple as a color with Exile Blue as a combination with that one too. I would make actually a glaze almost out of Exile, beaten purple, and lay it over the top of Exile Blue and let it pool down into the recesses. Let it dry out, and then I would come back and then smooth blend the transitions a little bit.
Now, normally I would take some coal black. Coal black is the kind of default shade color that I use for a lot of stuff, but I don't have any with me, so I'm using Vallejo Deep Sea Blue, which is almost the same. It's just a little bit darker, just a tiny bit. It's almost the exact same, though. I'm just going to take that where my darkest shadows are to really pop those shadows. And those, you just want a tiny bit. You just don't even want to...
I kind of wish I had you up on the big camera right now so that people could see you a little bit better with what you're doing.
Yeah, if I would have thought about it, I would have gotten on my iPad and started.
No, if you go full screen, you could actually get a pretty good view of what she's doing.
Okay, yeah.
I've been doing that alternatingly when you were doing the tartan stuff in here.
It's getting a little smudgy, so I'm going to have to go back in there with my magenta now.
But anyway, I think the key thing that we're demonstrating here is that with pink, it's not one of those colors that you're going to get the opportunity to necessarily go nuts with a wash and have it auto shade for you. It's going to be one of those things that, because it's a bright color, you're going to have to spend a little bit more time with blending and two-brush blending and look at what she's using here. She's using purples and coal blacks and things like that down in the deepest recesses. And the picture that Tracy shared with me was that she was working on a Warjack. It was a freebooter, I believe. And so, taking those colors and making sure that you're getting the good shades in there, as well as maybe using, some of the other pinks for some of the highlights and stuff. So there we see, there's the... Wow, that looks really beautiful. You can see the purples down there in the deep recesses and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's just a quick, sketch. So, I mean, if I were to do that, I would just spend a lot of time working that blend so that it was really smooth, But I like blues and purples for my shadows for pinks, and I like lighter pinks for my highlights, and I like a really strong magenta or, probably a magenta, because your highlight is actually going to make it look light pink. Because when I'm looking at it, it actually reads as the whole thing being light pink, even though it's got those dark shadows in it.
Cool. Well, that's some great tips. I really appreciate you doing that painting. I figured out a way to make your portion of the Skype actually a little bit larger.
Oh, good.
So that worked out pretty good there towards the end.
And that's on 3 shots of tequila too.
Hell yeah. Now I just got to figure out how to do it. There you go. Now we're back to even keel. All right, good.
Yay.
Let's real quickly. We've only got about 5 minutes, John. Let's talk real quickly about. Let's give a very top line on the Ant-Man. What'd you think?
I'll do Ant-Man that real quick. Then I think we could talk about Big Hero 6v1 or whatever.
Yes, let's just. We'll do both of those.
All right, Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Half a shot of Kraken. It's
Really?
good.
Really?
Go see it. It manages, even though it completely changes sort of their story, it manages to get the spirit. They're real. I don't know how Marvel keeps doing it, but they keep getting their story, like taking the broad strokes of their characters and getting them in, and just keep it going. I just don't know.
Yeah, they're just doing it
because it starts off great. You get you get cameos from a bunch of people in the Marvel universe. That's great. I'm not going to spoil who's in it, but there are cameos from other Marvel characters in there. There's a mid-credit teaser, and then there's the end credit teaser. So stay to the absolute end, because the end credit teaser is worth it.
Cool.
It is.
Cool.
But I would go see it. It's worth full price. I may go see it again, but if I did, I'd go see it again with friends.
Cool.
I also did see it early bird at like 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, I'm going to take the kids later this week to go see it for sure.
It is pretty kid-friendly.
Cool.
That's good.
And speaking of kid movies, you were also very interested in talking about Big Hero 6.
Yeah, yesterday, unfortunately, the AC at Drop Zone went out, and when we went to lunch, Al Marshall said he was going to show Big Hero 6 at his place, so I didn't go back. I just went to his place and got to finally see Big Hero 6.
It's a quality movie.
It was very good. Somehow it manages to do every single team superhero movie cliche.
Yes.
But it doesn't hit you upside the head with it. You're like, you can go like, I see that they're doing cliche, but it works.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. One warning, I cried like 7 times during that, though, because I think it was even more emotional for me than Up was.
Shut up.
I don't feel like
it was really emotional for me.
It's close. They definitely tug at the heartstrings a bit. I feel Up was a little more emotional, but there's still a bunch in this.
As a father,
Yes.
I can't get past the first 10 minutes of Up with the dry eyes.
No.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Up's pretty much the epitome of a Pixar type of movie. Holy crap! But this is really good. I really enjoyed it. They don't really dwell on anything too long. It's paced pretty well.
It's funny as hell.
It is funny as hell. Nothing. I mean, it's a very competently well. I mean, you could almost see how what they were trying to, they were trying to craft it as well as they could, and they did. I mean, it was crafted very well from front to finish. A little montage heavy, but they're all placed well and necessary.
They have really powerful female characters, too. I have to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, no unnecessary love stuff, which I like in a movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes this just doesn't fit in the movie, and it's good when it doesn't happen.
Yep,
Yeah.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it very much, too, when I saw it, John. I watched it with my kids, and I was very pleasantly surprised. It's a Marvel property, if I remember right.
It is,
So,
but it is
yeah.
only tangentially related to the comic book it came from, because I've read that comic.
Yeah.
Because I'm a geek.
Yeah.
Is the comic worth reading? Because I thought about it.
No.
No? Aw.
The comic's not bad, but if you really like Big Hero 6, they took the broad strokes of the comic, the
Okay.
spirit, if you will, and they put it into a movie. And the movie's better than the comic ever was.
Oh.
What do you give it for Shots of Kraken?
I'm gonna go 0. You don't need Shots of Kraken to watch this.
I would recommend against Shots of Kraken. I mean, it's a great kids movie. I'm in the same boat with you. Getting liquored up in front of your kids, not super positive, but
Yeah.
it happens.
It's super good. Now, even though I give it 0 Shots of Kraken, I wouldn't necessarily rate it better than a lot of the best movies. It's definitely in the top 15 or 20 superhero movies. If I were to rate them again, I've got a spreadsheet I can work on, but it's very good. It's worth watching. I may even go so far as to buy it on Blu-ray or something.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Shoshi, what do you think about it?
Well, I don't know. What is a Kraken rating? Like, I don't know what that is.
Keep in mind how much Kraken it takes to get through it. So,
0. It was amazing, and I mean, very heartfelt, and I don't think you need any Kraken to get through it.
Excellent. Good, fantastic answer.
And Brushes, if you want a bigger review of Ant-Man, John's going to see it this week, and if I manage to make it on next week, because I might not because I'm moving.
Yeah, we'll do a
Right.
full review.
But if I do, we'll definitely do a bigger review of it.
Yep, absolutely. That sounds perfect. Let's see. I was going to mention something, and now it's escaping me.
I also watched Speed Racer again.
Oh, what a great
Zero
movie.
Shots of Kraken. Go see that movie. If you liked Speed
Yeah.
Racer the cartoon at all, just see it. Don't listen to the critics. Forget those guys. It is a love letter to the Speed Racer cartoon, and still a good movie on top of that.
I think it's the best movie the Wachowskis have ever done. I think it's
Oh.
better. I like it better than The Matrix.
I enjoy watching it more than The Matrix.
It's much
I
more
like a couple
enjoyable.
scenes in
than
The Matrix better, but as from front to end, I just love the hell out of that
It's
movie.
much more enjoyable than The Matrix.
It's a live action cartoon, and it does it right.
It nails
Nice.
it nails it on every level.
Yeah, I
That's
love
awesome.
that movie.
I went back and started watching the anime, and went right back to the movie and said, "Nope, rather watch a movie."
I own 5 volumes of Speed Racer on original Speed Racer on DVD. It's a hard watch, but it definitely has some good enjoyable points. And there's nothing like a good episodic, normally a half an hour show, just bite-sized.
Yep.
I got like 20 minutes. I'll watch an episode and I'll go off and do something else. It's great.
There you go.
Update on my cats. Snacky and Theoretical are doing well. They have taken to the dog. So Zaza has become very attached to the kitties, to the point where I may have accidentally closed the door on one of them, and had to take it to the vet to make sure that its leg was going to be okay. And Zaza, when they were working on the cat, was very upset at the crying of the cat. So we know the dog likes the cat, so that's a good thing. But
That's
Yes.
good.
yep. Anyway, hopefully I'll make some progress on Menoth Fred this week. I laid down a very a base coat of Sanguine Base for Menoth Fred, and I look forward to playing him hopefully on Tuesday. I'll be playing Menoth Fred, so yay. Anything else, guys? Anything else we ought to know about Shoshie from the Hordes painting channel?
Let's see, we just had a big contest, and that was really fun, and we had a lot of entries. One of the things people don't know about our contest is that we have a sponsor that, as long as you enter the contest at the deadline, you're eligible to win a prize. It's kind of like how you guys roll your dice and stuff like that. So we're just encouraging people to get their models painted. Doesn't matter how well they are.
Good.
And
That's terrific.
Yeah, we do that every other month.
So get on over there to Warmachine and Hordes Painting. That is the second best Facebook site on the Facebook. And go ahead and get over to Painting with Menoth John, also on the Facebooks, and like us. We're very likable. And I want to thank. Go ahead.
Shoshie's Minis also.
Absolutely, Shoshie's Minis are fantastic, and I hope that you all have a wonderful week. John, I hope that the move goes well. Thumbs up. Godspeed.
Still waiting on a couple things to go through, but it's looking promising. I got a bigger place than I wanted. Hey, that's always bonus.
Yeah, and if
There
the
you
money,
go.
Space.
and as long as the money works and all that kind of good shit, hooray!
Yeah,
So-
that's fine.
I guess we're gonna call it a show, and I want to
It
thank
was.
you, Shoshie. It was terrific to have you on here. You know,
Yes.
you bring so much education along with just the fellowship and the awesomeness, and look forward to having you on here next time. And get your ass to St. Louis in November.
I will try. Depends on what I'm going to be 44, so I have to have birthday plans, but I think I might have to drag my husband to St. Louis.
Whoop-dee-doo. 44. Yeah, I'm 47. So if I can make it, you can make it. So
Yep.
on behalf of Shoshie and John Spencer, we sure appreciate it, Brushheads. We'll see you next time on Painting with Menoth John. Good night, everybody.